Okay, so let's get into peptides. So let's just get into the overall of it. What is a peptide?
Okay, so peptides are made from amino acids. So we all know amino acids. We've heard that. Everybody wants to take them for workouts, before workout, after workout. So think of a strand of pearls. So each individual pearl is an amino acid. And as you string them together, they make peptides. So we have more than 7,000 peptides naturally occurring in our body. And so those are strings of amino acids, anywhere from 2 to about 50. So the cutoff of a peptide is about 50 amino acids strung together. When you get more than 50 strung together, it becomes a polypeptide. So similar, but just larger. But then you get more than 100 strung together, you have a protein. So that's the progression: amino acid, peptide, polypeptide into a protein.
I love that. So one of the most things I love about our podcast is I learn something every time. And, although probably in biochemistry 30 some years ago, I probably did learn that, but amino acid, peptide, polypeptide, protein. There you go. Yep. Makes sense. The progression. So how do peptides, explain biohacking and how can peptides be used in biohacking?
Yeah. So biohacking is definitely a buzzword these days and has been for probably 5, 6, maybe up to 10 years now. I got into it in Central California when a good friend of mine, Angela, and I would sit around and watch our daughters ride horses, and we would just talk about all this stuff that we heard on podcasts. And that's when we found, of course, the father of biohacking, Dave Asprey. And basically, biohacking is doing something to yourself, for yourself, to see the results. If there's something that you don't like and you just try to hack that, you might hack weight loss, you might hack your workout or your recovery. And so peptides fit nicely into that, because there's a lot of peptides that we can use to hack different things. And that's one thing that people are always like, what peptide for this? What peptide for that? Well, there are, like I said, over 7,000 naturally occurring peptides in our body, more than 60 that are FDA approved. So here, Shawn, fun pharmacy fact, a question for you. Do you know what the very first FDA approved peptide was?
Wow, you are putting me on the spot. I'm going to be curious to know, and I probably, once you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So I don't.
20s.
What is it? What is it?
Insulin.
Oh,
of course, right?
Of course. Insulin's a peptide hormone, is what it is. Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It is, right. Yes. So peptides act on the outside of the cell, and hormones act on the inside of the cell. So yes, it's a peptide hormone. It's technically 51 amino acids, so it's on the verge of a polypeptide there. So to use peptides in biohacking, there we go. Fun fact. I love fun facts. Anybody else have fun facts? Put them in the chat. Let's share fun facts.
Yeah, please.
So then we can use peptides in biohacking to hack our gut health, our sleep, huge indications in anti-aging, and immune system function, workout, like I said, osteoporosis, bone health, bone growth. And of course, we're not curing, preventing, or doing any of those non-allowed phrases with peptides. We are just, mostly people, biohackers are what we call an N of 1. So when you are doing studies, because everybody wants to do placebo-controlled, peer-reviewed studies, right? An N is your number of participants. So biohackers are what we call an N of 1. There's just one participant. It's just me. It's just you. It's just whoever's doing that particular experiment on themselves.
Well, I like using N of 1 because as a compounding pharmacy, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
And, a placebo-controlled trial with, hundreds or thousands of patients costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And there are many patients that would go without certain modalities if we had to do a placebo-controlled trial to do anything on them. So N of 1, I will tell you, when a doctor asks me, well, do you have any studies on this? First thing I'll say is I have thousands of patients that say this works. Yeah. I mean, that's a good study right there. So